chosen one. Something in the unseen shifted before you ever pressed play, and that shift is the reason you are here right now. This moment did not appear randomly in your day. Heaven arranged it with precision, placing these words directly in your path at the exact time your spirit was ready to hear them. Anointed One, long before your mind recognized this message, your name was already known in the unseen. Your journey, your delays, your quiet seasons of waiting were never wasted time. They were preparation. What once looked like silence was actually preservation. What once felt like delay was divine timing unfolding exactly as it was written. Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 3 reminds us that the vision waits for its appointed time, and when that time arrives, it will not delay. Chosen One. The season you are entering is not ordinary progress. It is alignment. The kind of alignment that rearranges circumstances, opens doors no human effort could force open, and releases provision that was prepared long before you knew to ask for it. The billionaire's blessing you have sensed in your spirit is not a distant possibility. It is already moving through unseen channels toward your life. Anointed One. If messages like this continue to find you, consider subscribing so you do not miss the confirmations meant for your journey. Because what you are about to hear next may explain why this moment feels different from any other before it. Chosen One, hear this clearly in your spirit before anything else settles in your mind. The blessing you have been praying about is not wandering through the world trying to locate you. It already knows your name. Heaven did not begin working on your future the moment you started asking. The preparation began long before you recognized the need. What you call delay was often protection. What you called silence was frequently construction taking place behind doors you were never meant to force open. There is a moment in every life when the unseen begins to move before the visible has any evidence to show for it. Many people miss that moment because they are watching circumstances instead of listening to the subtle shift inside their own spirit. But something in you has started to notice the difference. The weight that once felt permanent is loosening. Certain fears no longer speak with the same authority they once had. Even your thinking has begun to change. This is not coincidence. This is alignment. Anointed One, heaven does not release what it has prepared into chaos. It releases it into vessels that can carry it without being destroyed by it. That is why the journey has not been simple. The seasons that seemed quiet, the times when nothing appeared to move, the prayers that felt like they disappeared into the ceiling, those moments were not empty space. They were shaping your capacity. I remember a season in my own life when everything outwardly looked ordinary. The bills still arrived. The work still demanded attention. Conversations with people still sounded the same. Yet inside me, something had shifted. I could not explain it at first. It felt like standing in a room where the air pressure had quietly changed. Nothing dramatic had happened, but I knew I could not return to the way I once saw myself. That is the beginning of divine elevation. It rarely announces itself with noise. It begins with identity. I'm chosen. One, wealth in the kingdom of God does not begin in the bank account. It begins in the mind and the spirit. Long before resources appear externally, something internal becomes stable. You stop negotiating your worth. You stop asking permission to exist in the assignment God gave you. You stop shrinking yourself to make others comfortable. The world teaches people that money is the source of security. Heaven teaches the opposite. Money is simply a tool that responds to alignment. When purpose becomes clear, provision begins to organize itself around that clarity. This is why some people chase opportunities their entire lives and still feel empty when they finally achieve them. They pursued resources before identity was ready to hold them. But heaven is not careless with what it releases. When God entrusts someone with abundance, it is never just about comfort. It is about responsibility. Anointed one. The billionaire's blessing you keep hearing about is not simply a number attached to a bank account. It is the ability to influence systems, provide for others, and create stability in places that once knew only survival. It is stewardship. For a long time, you may have felt uncomfortable even imagining abundance. Many people are taught to associate humility with limitation. They think remaining small somehow proves their faith. But heaven never asked you to live in fear of expansion. Scripture quietly reveals this truth again and again. Deuteronomy chapter 8 verse 18 reminds us that it is God who gives the power to create wealth so that his covenant may be established. That verse is not speaking about selfish accumulation. It is speaking about responsibility. When God increases someone's capacity, it is usually because their influence is meant to reach further than their current circumstances allow. Chosen one. This is why the internal battle has been so intense. You were not just fighting circumstances. You were confronting every belief that tried to convince you that your assignment was too large. Fear is skilled at disguising itself as wisdom. It whispers things that sound reasonable. It tells you that you waited too long, that you missed your moment, that others are more qualified, that someone else will carry the responsibility. But fear is not a prophet. Fear is simply a shadow created by uncertainty. Heaven's voice sounds very different. It does not argue. It does not panic. It speaks with calm authority. It says, "You are chosen." It says the delay did not cancel the assignment. It says what has been prepared still carries your name. Anointed one. The reason this message is reaching you right now is not because the world suddenly changed. It is because your readiness has reached a new level. When readiness meets divine timing, movement begins. You may already be noticing the early signs. Certain conversations no longer feel the same. Opportunities that once seemed out of reach are beginning to appear in subtle ways. People who once overlooked you are suddenly paying attention. None of this happens randomly. Heaven moves with intention. Think about a farmer planting a seed. The moment the seed enters the soil, nothing above ground appears to change. Days pass, sometimes weeks. To an impatient observer, it looks like nothing is happening at all. But beneath the surface, roots are spreading. Structure is forming. Strength is developing. If the plant appeared too quickly, it would collapse under its own weight. Chosen. One, many people want the fruit without respecting the root system required to hold it. Heaven refuses to release increase into a life that cannot support it. That is why the waiting season exists. It trains your nervous system to hold peace when pressure increases. It trains your character to choose integrity even when shortcuts look tempting. It trains your discernment so you can recognize which doors are aligned and which ones would drain the assignment. You may not realize how much you have grown until you compare your reactions today with the way you responded years ago. Situations that once triggered anxiety now meet a steadier version of you. Opinions that once shook your confidence now pass by without the same power. That change is not accidental. It's evidence that the preparation worked. Anointed One, Heaven has been shaping your ability to carry influence without losing humility, to hold resources without being controlled by them, to lead without needing constant validation. That kind of maturity cannot be rushed, but once it exists, everything changes. Because provision does not chase chaos. Provision recognizes stability. And stability is exactly what heaven has been forming inside you. Chosen one. There is something else you must understand before what comes next begins to unfold. The blessing ahead of you will not arrive the way movies or stories describe success. It will not necessarily appear as one dramatic moment where everything instantly changes overnight. Often, divine increase enters quietly, a conversation that seems ordinary, an introduction that opens a door you did not know existed, a decision that feels small in the moment but changes the direction of years to come. When preparation and timing finally meet, the shift rarely feels explosive. It feels natural. That is the place you are approaching now. And what happens next will only make sense to someone who understands how long heaven has been preparing you for it. Chosen one. There is a stage in every divine journey where heaven begins rearranging things quietly before the visible world catches up. This stage is subtle. If you were expecting thunder or dramatic announcements, you might miss it entirely. But if you pay attention to your inner world, you will notice that something has already begun shifting. Your reactions are different now. Situations that once drained you no longer carry the same weight. The voices that used to make you question yourself are losing their influence. You are becoming less willing to negotiate with fear, less interested in proving your worth, and more comfortable standing in quiet confidence. This is not arrogance. This is alignment. Anointed one. The world often believes that elevation begins when opportunity appears. But heaven understands that elevation begins when identity stabilizes. The internal shift always comes first. The external change simply follows the signal. I remember a moment during a difficult season when I realized something important. Nothing around me had improved yet. The responsibilities were still there. The uncertainty had not disappeared. Yet inside, I felt strangely calm, not excited, not desperate, just calm. At first, I thought something was wrong with me. I wondered why I was not more anxious about what had not happened yet. But later, I understood the truth. That calm was not resignation. It was readiness. Heaven responds to settled identity faster than it responds to frantic effort. Chosen. Many people spend years trying to force their way into opportunities. They push, chase, and exhaust themselves trying to manufacture momentum. But divine increase rarely responds to force. It responds to alignment. When your identity becomes steady, reality begins to organize around that steadiness. That is why the inner work mattered so much. Every boundary you learned to hold, every relationship you had to release, every moment you chose integrity when shortcuts were easier, all of it shaped the container you are becoming. Wealth is not neutral when it enters a life that is unprepared. It magnifies whatever already exists inside the person receiving it. If someone carries unresolved fear, wealth amplifies fear. If someone carries insecurity, wealth magnifies insecurity. But when wealth meets clarity, something very different happens. It multiplies purpose. Anointed one, heaven has been far more interested in your character than in your circumstances. That may not always feel comforting while you are in the middle of the process, but it is essential. Because the blessing you are approaching is not temporary relief. It is sustainable increase. Chosen one, think about the difference between rain and a river. Rain appears suddenly and disappears just as quickly. A river, however, flows continuously because it has a channel that can carry it. Heaven is not preparing a moment of rain for your life. It is preparing a river. But rivers require channels strong enough to guide the flow. Without structure, the water becomes destructive instead of life-giving. That is why your preparation season focused so much on inner stability. You were learning how to hold responsibility without collapsing under pressure. You were learning how to remain grounded when recognition increases. You were learning how to hear God's voice above the noise of public opinion. Anointed One. Many people ask heaven for abundance while secretly fearing what abundance might change. They imagine wealth will solve every problem, but they rarely consider the weight that comes with influence. Influence requires discernment. Resources require stewardship. Opportunity requires wisdom. You have been learning these lessons quietly. And the proof is visible in ways you may not even realize yet. You are less reactive. You are less interested in comparison. You are no longer chasing validation the way you once did. That is not detachment. That is maturity. Chosen One. Heaven does not elevate people who need to be seen. Heaven elevates people who can see clearly. When clarity becomes your foundation, influence begins to move toward you naturally. You may already be noticing subtle confirmations appearing in your life, a conversation that speaks directly to something you prayed about months ago, a connection forming with someone who understands your vision without needing long explanations, an opportunity presenting itself in a way that feels almost too natural. These are not coincidences. They are signals. Faith is often misunderstood as blind belief, but faith is actually agreement with what heaven is already doing. Hebrews chapter 11 verse 1 describes faith as the assurance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not yet seen. Notice that it does not say faith creates the promise. Faith simply aligns you with it. Anointed One, the blessing you are moving toward has already been authorized in the unseen. Your role is not to force it into existence. Your role is to remain aligned with it. That is why expectation matters. Expectation is not entitlement. It is positioning. When you expect movement, your attention becomes sharper. You begin to notice doors that once seemed invisible. Conversations begin to reveal opportunities that were always present but previously unnoticed. You are not forcing anything to happen. You are recognizing what was already forming. Chosen One. This is also why the past season felt so intense at times. When identity is shifting, the mind often tries to hold on to old patterns. Doubt can appear suddenly, even when everything else is improving. A quiet thought might whisper that this blessing is too large, that you are not fully ready, that someone else would be more qualified. But those thoughts are not intuition. They are conditioning. For years, you were taught to survive rather than steward. You were trained to focus on limitations instead of possibilities. But heaven never designed you for a life of constant scarcity. You were designed for impact, and impact requires resources. Anointed One, the moment you stop negotiating your worth is the moment provision begins recognizing its rightful place in your life. Because money was never meant to be your master. It was meant to become your servant, and the one who understands that difference is the one heaven can trust with increase. Chosen One. The shift you are experiencing now may feel quiet, but do not underestimate its significance. The most powerful movements in the kingdom rarely begin with noise. They begin with alignment, and alignment is exactly where you are standing now, or Chosen One. There is a stage in the journey where the soul begins to recognize that something sacred is approaching long before circumstances confirm it. It does not arrive as excitement the way people often imagine breakthrough. It arrives as a deep stillness, the kind that settles into your chest when your spirit finally stops arguing with timing. Many people misunderstand this moment. They think the quiet means nothing is happening. They think the calm means the promise has slowed down. But in truth, this is often the most important stage of the entire process. The seed beneath the soil is not visible, yet it is very much alive. Roots are spreading, structure is forming, strength is developing where no one can see it. And just like that hidden seed, something has been developing within you for a long time now. Anointed One. There were seasons when you wondered if the waiting itself was the lesson. You woke up each day handling ordinary responsibilities while carrying extraordinary questions inside your heart. Some mornings you had faith. Other mornings you simply had endurance. Yet even on the days when belief felt quiet, you kept showing up. You kept moving forward. You kept choosing integrity even when no one noticed. That kind of faith rarely looks impressive from the outside, but heaven pays attention to it. In fact, heaven often trusts the quiet faith more than the dramatic one. Loud declarations are easy when circumstances are favorable. But the kind of faith that remains steady in ordinary routines carries a different kind of authority. It is the faith that does not collapse when the results take longer than expected. Chosen. 1. The waiting season has been shaping something far more valuable than immediate answers. It has been stabilizing your inner world. When a person receives increase without inner stability, the weight of responsibility eventually overwhelms them. But when someone has learned how to remain grounded during uncertainty, the arrival of abundance does not destabilize them. It simply expands what they are already capable of carrying. That is what has been happening inside you. Little by little, your nervous system has been learning peace instead of panic. Your thoughts have been learning patience instead of urgency. Even your decisions have begun to reflect a deeper level of clarity. You may not have noticed it at first, but the way you handle pressure now is not the same as it once was. Situations that used to send your mind racing now meet a calmer response. Problems that once felt overwhelming now appear as challenges that can be navigated. That shift did not happen overnight. It was formed through repetition, through endurance, through countless moments when you chose alignment, even when the evidence was incomplete. Anointed One. This is one of the quiet secrets about divine increase that most people never realize. The blessing is not only preparing to arrive in your life is preparing to host the blessing. There is a difference between receiving something and being able to sustain it. Many people encounter sudden opportunity but lose it because their inner world was never trained to hold the pressure that accompanies expansion. But heaven does not operate through reckless timing. Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse 1 reminds us that there is a time for everything under heaven. That means timing is not random. It is intentional, and the timing connected to your life has been unfolding with remarkable precision. Chosen One. There may have been moments when you felt almost invisible. You worked, you learned, you grew, but the recognition you expected never seemed to arrive. People overlooked you, doors remained closed, opportunities seemed to pass you by. Yet those experiences were not empty chapters, they were refining seasons. Every disappointment sharpened your discernment. Every setback strengthened your resilience. Every delay stretched your ability to trust what you could not yet see. You were not simply waiting for a blessing, you were becoming someone capable of carrying it with wisdom. Anointed One. Something else has been happening as well, something subtle but powerful. Your desires themselves have been changing. The things that once seemed important no longer carry the same pull. Recognition, comparison, the constant need to prove yourself, those desires are fading. In their place, something deeper is emerging. You are beginning to think about impact instead of applause. You are beginning to think about legacy instead of immediate relief. You are beginning to see resources not as trophies, but as tools that can change lives. That transformation is one of the clearest signs that heaven has been preparing you for increase. Because when wealth enters the hands of someone who only seeks validation, it quickly becomes destructive. But when wealth enters the hands of someone whose vision includes others, it multiplies purpose. Chosen one. The shift you are sensing now is not merely emotional, it is structural. Your identity has been recalibrated in ways you may only fully recognize later. You are learning to think like a steward instead of a survivor. Survivors focus on immediate needs. Stewards focus on long-term impact. Survivors operate from urgency. Stewards operate from wisdom. And as this transformation continues, you will notice that your perspective keeps expanding. You will begin to see possibilities where you once saw obstacles. You will begin to notice connections forming where you once saw isolation. Opportunities will not feel like rare miracles anymore. They will feel like natural extensions of the life you are being called to build. Anointed. 1. This is why patience remains so important in this stage. When the internal foundation is still stabilizing, rushing the external breakthrough can create unnecessary pressure. Heaven is not interested in temporary elevation. Heaven is interested in sustainable transformation. That means the process sometimes moves more quietly than people expect. Yet beneath that quiet surface movement is happening constantly. Conversations are aligning. People are being positioned. Doors are being prepared long before they open. You may not see every piece of the puzzle yet, but that does not mean the design is incomplete. It simply means the moment of revelation has not fully arrived. And when that moment comes, what once felt like scattered experiences will suddenly reveal a clear and deliberate pattern. Chosen one. The calm you feel right now is not the end of the story. It is the atmosphere that appears right before movement begins. Chosen one. There is a quiet turning point that arrives in a person's life when faith no longer feels like something they are trying to maintain, but something that has become part of their posture. It is the moment when belief stops sounding like effort and begins to feel like recognition. You are not pushing the promise forward anymore. You are no longer straining to convince yourself that something good will eventually happen. Instead, there is a steadiness that begins to form inside you. It is not loud. It does not need to prove itself. It simply remains. This is the kind of inner posture heaven responds to most quickly because it reflects trust rather than desperation. Anointed one. There was a time when every delay felt personal. Every unanswered prayer sounded like silence. Every closed door seemed like proof that you were somehow behind everyone else. Many nights you may have replayed decisions in your mind, wondering whether you had missed something important or taken a wrong step somewhere along the way. Those questions were not signs of weakness. They were signs that you cared deeply about your calling. Yet over time, something began to change in you. Instead of constantly searching for reassurance, you began learning how to remain present, even when clarity had not fully arrived. Instead of demanding immediate answers, you began trusting that timing itself carried wisdom. That shift did not remove every uncertainty, but it created a deeper sense of grounding. Chosen one. When a person reaches this stage, they begin to notice something remarkable. Their emotional center no longer swings with every external circumstance. Challenges still appear, responsibilities still exist, and unexpected problems still require attention. But these things no longer define the core of their identity. They become situations to navigate rather than forces that control the direction of their spirit. This is what maturity looks like in the life of someone preparing for influence. It is not the absence of difficulty, it is the presence of stability in the middle of it. Anointed One, heaven entrusts greater responsibility to people who have learned how to remain anchored during uncertain seasons. Anyone can celebrate success once it arrives, but not everyone can remain steady during the years when progress is invisible. You have walked through those years. You have carried questions that others never saw. You have continued moving forward even when your path looked ordinary from the outside. That quiet endurance has been building something far more valuable than immediate results. It has been creating weight in your faith, a faith that has memory, a faith that knows how to stand when circumstances fluctuate. Chosen One. Something else begins to emerge during this stage of the journey. Your relationship with opportunity changes. Earlier in life, opportunities often felt like something to chase. You might have felt urgency to say yes to everything that looked promising, fearing that saying no would close the only door available. But as your identity stabilizes, that urgency begins to disappear. Opportunities start to feel less like pressure and more like invitations. Instead of rushing forward, you listen. Instead of forcing progress, you discern timing. That shift is not hesitation. It is wisdom. Anointed One discernment becomes one of the most valuable gifts heaven places in the life of someone approaching influence. Because not every opportunity that appears is aligned with your assignment. Some doors lead to distraction. Some connections lead to unnecessary pressure. Some invitations require energy that belongs somewhere else. In earlier seasons, it was difficult to recognize the difference. But now your spirit has grown sensitive enough to notice the distinction between alignment and urgency. You can feel it in your body. Some choices create expansion. Others create tension. That awareness is a form of protection. It ensures that when the blessing begins to move more visibly, your focus will remain clear. Chosen One. The interesting thing about this stage is that excitement often becomes quieter. At first, that might seem strange. You expected breakthrough to feel dramatic. You imagined it would arrive with overwhelming emotion or sudden celebration. But instead, what often appears is composure. The promise no longer feels distant enough to cause anxiety, yet it has not fully manifested in front of you. It exists in a space where your spirit recognizes it before your circumstances do. That recognition creates a calm readiness. Anointed One readiness is different from urgency. Urgency pushes people to act before they are prepared. Readiness allows them to respond naturally when the moment arrives. You may already feel this difference forming inside you. Instead of imagining a different life, you are quietly preparing for one. Your habits are shifting. Your focus is sharpening. Even the way you manage your energy is becoming more intentional. Distractions that once felt harmless now seem costly. Conversations that once felt necessary now appear unnecessary. This is not withdrawal from life. It is refinement. Chosen One, heaven often releases responsibility before it releases resources. That is why you may sense the weight of future impact long before you hold the material evidence of it. You begin thinking about systems instead of survival. You begin considering how decisions affect people beyond yourself. You begin understanding that influence carries consequences that extend far beyond personal comfort. This stage can feel almost like standing at the entrance of something larger than you can fully explain. You sense that expansion is approaching, but you also feel the seriousness of what it will require from you. Anointed One. This awareness is not meant to intimidate you, it is meant to prepare you. The blessing that has your name on it will not require you to become someone entirely different. It will simply confirm the identity that has already been forming within you. The patience you practiced in quiet seasons will guide you when opportunities accelerate. The integrity you maintained when no one was watching will protect you when more people begin paying attention. The humility you developed during waiting will keep your heart clear when recognition increases. Nothing about the preparation you have walked through was unnecessary. Every step has been shaping the vessel that will carry what comes next. Chosen one. The calm you're experiencing now is not stagnation. It is the final stage of alignment before movement becomes visible. Beneath the surface, connections are aligning, conditions are shifting, and doors are being positioned. The moment will arrive when what once felt quiet begins to move with unmistakable clarity. And when that movement begins, you will recognize it immediately, not because it feels overwhelming, but because it feels exactly like where you were always meant to stand. Chosen one. There is a moment in every divine story when what once felt distant begins to feel near, not because circumstances suddenly change overnight, but because your spirit starts recognizing the movement before your eyes can confirm it. It is like standing at the edge of a sunrise while the horizon is still dark. The light has not fully appeared yet, but something in the atmosphere tells you morning is already arriving. This is the stage many people misunderstand. They expect breakthrough to feel explosive, dramatic, impossible to ignore. But often, the truest signs appear quietly. A calm settles where anxiety used to live. Confidence replaces the constant need for reassurance. You begin to move through your days with a steadier pace, as if your soul has already stepped into something your circumstances are only beginning to approach. Anointed one. This calm is not the absence of responsibility. Your life still contains tasks, decisions, obligations, and moments that demand your attention. Yet your inner world responds differently now. You no longer interpret every challenge as a sign that something has gone wrong. Instead, you begin to see challenges as part of the environment where growth happens. The storms that once made you question your direction now simply remind you to remain anchored. This change in perspective is not accidental. It is the result of a long season where your faith was tested in ordinary moments. Heaven rarely prepares someone for influence through extraordinary days alone. More often, it uses the quiet routines of life to train the heart to remain steady. Chosen one, you may remember times when your faith was measured not by how strongly you felt it, but by how consistently you returned to it. Some days, belief came easily. Other days, you simply chose to keep walking even when clarity was absent. You continued doing the right thing when shortcuts appeared tempting. You continued trusting God when immediate answers did not arrive. Those choices may have seemed small in the moment, but together they formed the foundation of a much larger structure. Just as a building requires deep support beneath the surface before it can rise high into the sky, your life has been forming that hidden strength for a long time. Anointed one. One of the most powerful transformations happening inside you now is the way you relate to the future. Earlier in your journey, the future might have felt like something you were constantly trying to reach. You imagined it as a distant destination, something that would eventually arrive if you worked hard enough or prayed long enough. But as your alignment has deepened, the future has begun to feel less like a distant dream and more like a reality gradually moving toward you. This shift changes the way you carry yourself. Instead of leaning forward in anxious expectation, you begin standing upright in readiness. You no longer rush to force outcomes, you make room for them. Chosen one, readiness is not loud, it is spacious. It appears in the way you begin clearing things from your life that no longer belong in the environment where your calling is expanding. Certain habits lose their appeal. Certain conversations feel unnecessary. Even certain fears begin to dissolve because they no longer align with the identity you're stepping into. You are not forcing this transformation. It is emerging naturally because your spirit recognizes the weight of what is approaching. Just as someone preparing to host an important gathering begins organizing their home before guests arrive, your life has been quietly making space for the next chapter of your assignment. Anointed One. Heaven often releases responsibility before it releases resources. This is one of the ways it prepares people for sustainable increase. When responsibility appears first, it trains the heart to focus on stewardship instead of ownership. You begin to see your time, your influence, and even your opportunities through a different lens. Instead of asking what something can give you, you begin asking what you can build through it. That perspective transforms everything. It changes how you listen to people. It changes how you approach decisions. It changes how you imagine the impact of your life. Chosen One. This is why your sense of discernment has been sharpening recently. You feel the difference between alignment and pressure more clearly than before. Some invitations feel expansive, others feel heavy. Some ideas create peace, others create tension. That awareness is not random. It is the wisdom heaven places inside those who are being prepared to carry influence. Discernment protects the blessing. Without it, even good opportunities can pull someone away from their true assignment. But when discernment is present, every step becomes more intentional. Anointed One. You may also notice that your pace has changed. Earlier in life, you may have felt pressure to move quickly to prove yourself, to demonstrate progress as soon as possible. But now, something deeper guides your decisions. You are no longer motivated by urgency alone. You are motivated by clarity. This means you listen more carefully before speaking. You observe more patiently before acting. You allow ideas to mature before announcing them. What once felt like hesitation is actually wisdom developing through experience. Chosen One. The path often becomes narrower before expansion arrives. That narrowing can feel uncomfortable because it removes many of the options that once filled your attention. But this narrowing is not limitation, it is precision. Just as a river becomes stronger when its channel is defined, your life becomes more powerful when your focus becomes clear. Distractions fade. Purpose sharpens. The things that truly matter become easier to recognize. And when expansion finally begins, the direction of your influence will already be established. Anointed One. This is where trust deepens in a way that cannot be taught through words alone. You stop needing to know every detail about what comes next. You release the need to preview each step of the journey before taking it. Instead, you become comfortable moving forward with the understanding that God is orchestrating the timing with greater wisdom than you could design yourself. Proverbs chapter 3 verses 5 and 6 reminds us to trust in the Lord with all our heart and lean not on our own understanding. That trust becomes real when a person learns how to walk forward without demanding constant explanations. Chosen One. The calm you carry now is not the end of your journey. It is the atmosphere that appears right before doors begin opening in ways that once seemed impossible. And if this message has strengthened your spirit or reminded you that you are not walking this path alone, you are always welcome to quietly support this mission so more chosen ones can hear words of faith and encouragement like this. Sometimes, even a small gesture of support helps keep these messages flowing to the people who need them most. Chosen One. When the moment of movement finally begins, it rarely announces itself the way people expect. There is no countdown, no trumpet sounding in the distance, no sudden signal that declares everything is about to change. Instead, it often begins with something that looks almost ordinary. A conversation that seems casual, a connection that feels natural, a decision that appears small in the moment but quietly shifts the direction of your life. The reason it feels familiar instead of overwhelming is because your spirit has already walked through this moment many times before it arrived in reality. Preparation does that. It teaches your soul to recognize the door when it finally opens. Anointed One. This is why the waiting season was never wasted. The time you spent building your faith, refining your character, and learning how to remain steady under pressure has given you something far more valuable than quick success. It has given you recognition. When heaven opens a door, your spirit will know it. There will not be confusion about whether it belongs to you. The opportunity will resonate with the identity you have been developing all along. Others may call it sudden when they see it from the outside, but you will recognize it as the natural continuation of everything you have been becoming. Chosen One. I remember moments in my own life when opportunities appeared in ways that felt almost quiet. They did not arrive with dramatic excitement. They came gently, as if they had been waiting patiently for the exact right moment to reveal themselves. And when they appeared, something inside me responded immediately. There was no rush of adrenaline. There was simply a calm yes. That calm was the evidence that preparation had done its work. When preparation meets timing, movement feels natural instead of chaotic. Anointed One. This is the kind of blessing that integrates into your life rather than overwhelming it. Many people imagine wealth as something that suddenly changes everything overnight. They picture dramatic transformations and constant excitement. But the blessing heaven prepares for those who are aligned often looks different. It fits into your life with precision. It expands what is already working instead of destroying your peace. It strengthens your purpose rather than distracting you from it. That is how you know the increase is clean. When something arrives from divine alignment, it multiplies stability instead of creating confusion. Chosen One. As the doors begin to open, one of the most important things you can do is remain grounded in the practices that sustained you during the quiet seasons. Do not abandon the simplicity that helped shape your character. The discipline you developed when no one was watching will continue protecting you when more eyes begin to notice your life. Rest will remain important even when your responsibilities expand. Integrity will remain essential even when opportunities multiply. These habits are not temporary tools for surviving the waiting season. They are the foundation that will sustain the next chapter of your life. Anointed One, influence and resources will likely increase in ways that require new levels of stewardship. People may begin to look to you for guidance. Opportunities may appear faster than before. Decisions may carry consequences that affect more than just your own life. But this does not mean your center needs to change. The same inner agreement that carried you through seasons of uncertainty will carry you through seasons of expansion. The difference is that now your faith has history behind it. You have seen how God works through delay. You have witnessed how preparation unfolds in ways that are invisible until the right moment arrives. Chosen One. There will be people who look at your story and say, everything happened suddenly. They will call it overnight success. They will assume the breakthrough appeared out of nowhere, but you know the truth. You know how many ordinary days were required to build this moment. You know how many times you had to choose faith when doubt would have been easier. You know how many quiet prayers shaped the direction of your life long before the visible results appeared. The world often sees only the harvest, but heaven remembers the planting. Anointed One gratitude becomes especially powerful during this stage of the journey. Not just gratitude for what is arriving, but gratitude for what formed you along the way. The waiting that strengthened your endurance, the silence that sharpened your discernment, the ordinary routines that built extraordinary capacity inside your spirit. Without those seasons, the blessing would not have found the same version of you. The person who stands here now carries more wisdom, more humility, and more clarity than the person who first began this journey. Oh, chosen one. As the next chapter unfolds, remember that you are not stepping into something foreign. You are stepping into what you have been becoming all along. The identity that felt distant years ago now feels natural. The responsibilities that once seemed intimidating now appear manageable. The vision that once felt too large now feels aligned with the life God is building through you. Nothing about this moment is accidental. Every delay, every lesson, every challenge has been shaping the exact version of you required for what comes next. Anointed One. The billionaire's blessing connected to your life is not simply a financial event. It is the expansion of influence, stewardship, and opportunity that allows you to impact lives far beyond your immediate environment. Resources will become tools in your hands. Connections will become pathways for purpose. Decisions will create ripple effects that reach people you may never meet directly. This is why heaven prepared you carefully instead of quickly. The weight of this calling required a foundation strong enough to hold it. Chosen one, the door is closer than it appears. Not because something magical is suddenly happening, but because alignment has finally reached the point where movement can begin. Stay present. Stay steady. Continue walking with the same faith that carried you through the quieter chapters. When the moment arrives, you will not need to force anything. You will simply recognize the opening and step forward with the calm confidence of someone who already knows they belong there. A chosen one. There is a sacred transition that happens near the end of a long preparation season. It is the moment when faith no longer feels like something you must constantly protect, but something that has become woven into the way you carry yourself through life. You are no longer holding on to belief with tight hands, afraid it might slip away if circumstances shake. Instead, belief has become quiet confidence. It sits within you like a steady flame that does not need constant attention to remain alive. This is the posture heaven often looks for before releasing greater influence into someone's life, because confidence that grows from alignment cannot be easily shaken by external pressure. Anointed One. One of the signs that this transformation has taken place is the way you now respond to uncertainty. Earlier in your journey, uncertainty might have felt like a threat. It created questions that echoed through your mind and left you searching for reassurance. But something has changed. You have learned how to breathe inside uncertainty without letting it steal your peace. Challenges still exist, but they no longer feel like evidence that something is wrong with your path. They feel like part of the environment where your faith continues to mature. This shift is not small. It is the result of years of quietly choosing trust when clarity was incomplete. Chosen One. The strength you carry now did not appear suddenly. It was formed through countless ordinary days when you continued walking forward even when the road felt repetitive. Many people imagine that spiritual growth happens through dramatic moments alone, but the truth is that most transformation happens during routine. Waking up and choosing integrity when no one is watching. handling responsibilities with patience even when you feel tired, returning to prayer when answers seem delayed. These moments rarely appear impressive from the outside, but they shape the deepest parts of who you are becoming. They are the quiet training ground where heaven prepares people for influence that will eventually reach far beyond their current circumstances. Anointed One. Something else begins to develop during this stage of preparation. Your relationship with recognition changes. Earlier in life, recognition might have felt important because it validated your efforts. Being seen felt like confirmation that you were moving in the right direction. But as your alignment deepens, the need for constant recognition fades. You begin to understand that your value does not depend on who notices your work. It depends on who assigned your purpose. When that realization settles into your spirit, something powerful happens. You become free to focus on impact rather than applause. That freedom is essential for anyone who is about to carry greater responsibility. Chosen One. Heaven often entrusts greater resources to those who no longer depend on recognition for motivation. When a person becomes steady enough to work faithfully, whether or not others are watching, they demonstrate a level of maturity that can support larger assignments. You have been developing that maturity quietly. The moments when your efforts felt overlooked were not wasted. They were strengthening your ability to remain focused on purpose rather than external approval. This is why the increase approaching your life will not destabilize you. Your identity has already moved beyond the stage where recognition controls your sense of worth. Anointed One. As this stage of your journey continues, you may notice that opportunities begin appearing in ways that feel less chaotic than you once imagined. Instead of rushing into your life all at once, they may arrive gradually, each one building upon the previous step. This progression allows you to integrate new responsibilities without losing the stability you worked so hard to develop. The blessing does not need to overwhelm you in order to be significant. Sometimes the most powerful increase unfolds through a series of precise moments that align perfectly with your growth. Chosen One. This is where discernment continues playing an important role. Not every door that opens will belong to your assignment. Some opportunities will look appealing, but lead in directions that distract from your calling. Because of the preparation you have walked through, your spirit has become sensitive enough to recognize these differences. You are learning to listen carefully before responding. You are learning to sense when something expands your peace and when something quietly disturbs it. That awareness protects the direction of your life. It ensures that when the most important opportunities appear, you will have the clarity required to step forward without hesitation. Anointed One. The peace you carry now is one of the clearest signs that alignment has taken place. Peace does not mean the absence of responsibility. It means the presence of confidence that you are walking within the timing God has established. When peace becomes your foundation, decisions become clearer. Fear loses much of its influence. Even when challenges arise, they do not have the same ability to disrupt your focus. You remain anchored in the understanding that God is still guiding your path. Chosen One. The quiet confidence forming within you is not the end of your preparation. It is the evidence that preparation has worked. You are no longer the person who began this journey with uncertainty and questions. You are someone whose faith carries memory, endurance, and experience. Heaven often moves through people who have reached this stage because they know how to remain steady when influence increases. The doors that are beginning to align around your life will require that steadiness. They will invite you into environments where decisions carry greater impact and where your presence can shape outcomes for others. Anointed One. As these doors approach, Remember that your role is not to force the future into existence. Your role is to remain aligned with the identity God has been forming within you. Continue walking with the same humility that guided you through the waiting season. Continue practicing the same disciplines that strengthened your character during quieter chapters. The foundation that sustained you before will continue supporting you when the next phase begins. Chosen one. The season you are entering will not require you to become someone new. It will reveal the person you have already been becoming. And when the moment of expansion finally becomes visible, you will recognize it not as a surprise, but as the natural unfolding of a story heaven began writing over your life long ago. Chosen one. As you arrive at this stage of the journey, something important begins to settle inside your spirit. The urgency that once filled your thoughts starts to fade, replaced by a deeper awareness that the promise over your life has never depended on your ability to rush it into existence. What heaven has spoken does not expire simply because time passes. Divine timing moves according to a design far greater than human schedules, and you have been learning how to trust that design, even when the process felt slow. Now, as the pieces begin aligning more clearly, you can look back and recognize how carefully each season was arranged. The delays that once felt frustrating protected you from doors that were not meant for your future. The waiting that once felt uncertain strengthened your ability to remain steady when pressure increased. Nothing about the path you walked was wasted. Anointed. The truth about a blessing of this magnitude is that it rarely appears as a single moment that changes everything instantly. Instead, it unfolds through a series of precise openings that build upon one another. One conversation leads to a connection. One connection leads to opportunity. One opportunity leads to influence that reaches further than you imagined. From the outside, it may appear sudden, but from within the story, you will see how every step was carefully positioned. God does not scatter favor randomly. He aligns people, timing, and circumstances with remarkable intention. This is why the preparation season was so detailed. You were not only being strengthened personally, the environment around your future was also being arranged. Chosen one. There will be people who do not understand this part of your story. When the doors begin opening, they will only see the moment of movement. They will not see the years when you learned patience. They will not see the nights when you wrestled with doubt yet chose faith again the next morning. They will not see the quiet decisions that shaped your character long before success became visible. But heaven saw every one of those moments. The consistency you carried when life felt ordinary became the foundation for the opportunities that are now approaching. Luke chapter 16 verse 10 reminds us that whoever is faithful with little will also be faithful with much. That principle has been unfolding in your life for longer than you realized. Anointed one. The billionaire's blessing connected to your path is not merely about numbers or possessions. It represents capacity. It represents the ability to steward resources in ways that bring stability where chaos once existed. It represents influence that opens doors for others who would never have reached those opportunities alone. Wealth in the kingdom is rarely about accumulation. It is about multiplication. When resources enter the hands of someone who understands their purpose, those resources begin creating impact that stretches far beyond personal comfort. This is why heaven spent so much time shaping your perspective before releasing the increase. Without the right perspective, abundance can easily become distraction. But with the right perspective, abundance becomes a tool for transformation. Chosen one. As this chapter unfolds, you will discover that the most powerful part of the blessing is not the material change, but the clarity it brings to your purpose. The opportunities you step into will begin revealing how your gifts connect to the needs around you. The influence you gain will highlight the places where your voice carries weight. The resources that flow through your hands will reveal how your obedience can create ripple effects in the lives of people you may never meet directly. This is the true nature of kingdom increase. It moves outward. It strengthens communities. It creates pathways where others once saw limitations. Anointed. Remember that the calm you carry today will remain your greatest protection as the next chapter unfolds. Excitement may appear when doors open, but the peace that sustained you during waiting seasons must remain your foundation. That peace will guide your decisions when opportunities multiply. It will remind you to move with wisdom instead of urgency. It will protect you from distractions that try to pull your attention away from the assignment God has entrusted to you. Peace is not passive. It is the quiet authority that comes from knowing you are walking in alignment with divine timing. Chosen one. If you look closely at your life now, you will begin to see the early signs that movement has already started. Conversations are shifting. Your vision is becoming clearer. Your confidence no longer depends on outside approval. These are the signals that the internal transformation has reached completion. The person you needed to become for the next chapter is already standing here. And when identity is ready, circumstances eventually follow. Anointed one, carry this truth with you as you step forward from this moment. You are not chasing a blessing that might appear someday. You are aligning with a promise that has been unfolding around you for years. Every step you take with faith continues strengthening that alignment. Every decision guided by integrity continues opening doors that no one else can close. Revelation chapter 3 verse 8 speaks of the door that God opens which no one can shut. That promise is not distant from your life. It is part of the story being written right now. Chosen one. The message you have heard today is not the end of the journey. It is a reminder of where you stand within it. Heaven has already authorized what is unfolding over your life. The billionaire's blessing connected to your assignment is not something you must force or manipulate. It is something you will steward as it arrives through the alignment you have been learning to walk in. Continue moving forward with the same humility, patience, and faith that carried you through the waiting season. What is approaching will not require you to become someone different. It will simply confirm who you have been becoming all along. And when that confirmation becomes visible, you will recognize it instantly, not as luck, not as coincidence, but as the faithful completion of what heaven promised from the very beginning. Chosen one, you have reached the end of this message, but you have not reached the end of what heaven has already begun over your life. What has been spoken today is not wishful thinking, and it is not imagination. It is alignment. In the unseen, patterns are already shifting, doors are already adjusting, and people you have not yet met are being positioned along the path that leads to your next chapter. Anointed one. You are standing in a kairos moment, a sacred intersection where preparation meets release. The billionaire's blessing connected to your life is not something that must travel toward you from a distance. It is already circulating through divine timing, quietly arranging circumstances, opportunities, and connections in ways that will soon become visible. Remain steady, remain faithful. Walk forward with gratitude as though the promise is already unfolding, because in truth, it is. Carry this awareness into your days. Speak with confidence instead of fear. Move with peace instead of pressure. And when doubt tries to whisper, return to what your spirit recognized the moment this message began. If this word confirmed something in your heart, write Amen or 777 in the comments as a sign of agreement. And if messages like this continue to find you, consider subscribing so you do not miss the ones meant for your journey. If you feel led to support this mission through a small Buy Me a Coffee offering, it simply helps keep these messages of faith and encouragement reaching others. Chosen one, go forward in peace. Stay aligned. What heaven has begun in your life will be brought to completion.